With 3 days to the first long time trial of the Tour de France, 4 times winner Miguel Indurain is making his presence felt early. Yesterday he made sure he avoided the falls in the field by driving the pack on towards Dunkirk. Indurain's tactics in the past have always been to hide and await the time trials. This year he seems anxious to impress and avoid the crashes that have hurt this race so far. Overall, the longest day of the event changed little, and Italian Ivan Gotti kept his 1 second margin over teammate Bjarne Riis. Of the pre-race favourites, Alex Zula and Evgeny Berzin are best placed. Indurain is 10th, only 50 seconds back. Well, the talk this morning here in Dunkirk is not about the overall classification, but about the new sprinter, Jerome Blijlevens, in his second year as a professional. Yesterday, he showed a clean pair of wheels to some of the finest riders in the world. Here's Paul Sherwin now to take us through those last few moments to victory of the young Dutchman. Dunkerque-Charlerol is now challenging Cipollini. Winner will take the green jersey as they come to the line. I think it's Blijlevens who's coming to. In the TVM colours, and Blijlevens gets it.
Blijlevens may not be as fast as Mario Cipollini, but to win a bunch sprint, you need a lot more than pure speed. You need tactics, nerves of steel, and patience. Yesterday's sprint started perfectly for Super Mario. His teammate Martinello led him into the final 200 metres. Martinello moved over, leaving Cipollini to finish off. Abdul-Jafarov in the red and white had based his whole sprint on the Italian and began to come round him. However, into the strong headwind, the pair began to slow, having started their effort too soon. Blijlevens in the yellow then began his run on the right. Abdul-Jafarov used as much of the road as was legal, nearly taking down Sverada to try and slow down their progress. Notice how Blijlevens closes the door on him and then turns on the turbo and opens up the gap. By this time, the other sprinters knew they were beaten by the Flying Dutchman, who had used not only his speed, but his patience to wait until the others ran out of steam.
And the sprinters could feel at home again today as the race covers 202 kilometres, taking the riders from Dunkirk to Charleroi in Belgium. Leaving Dunkirk this morning, 174 riders following the retirement overnight of the Frenchman Pascal Hervé. He was the rider involved in this crash in the blue jersey when he followed an AKI rider who hit a spectator in a sprint for Prime points. And in fact, Pascal Hervé has broken a bone in his left hand. But better news of Sean Yates, who also fell yesterday. His back is very sore, but he stays in his 12th Tour de France. And a happy birthday due to the German sprinter Eric Zabel, who is 26 today. A third and a second place in the past 2 days. Well, perhaps he could win the stage into Belgium. The sprinters stretched their legs early too. After only 15 kilometres, the first hotspot sprint of the day came at De Panne, and it was Jamaluddin Abdul-Jafarov staking a claim for an early return to the green jersey. He beat Laurent Jalabert and Mario Cipollini.
And it's not only the racing that's going to be hot, because high of 27 degrees Celsius this afternoon and hardly any wind to cool it down for the riders, with a very feeble 5 km/h wind coming from the north.
And a new leader of the King of the Mountains yesterday, the first time it's ever been led by a Russian rider, Dmitry Konishev. He's only going to be involved in one small climb today to defend that lead of 1 point over Richard Virenque, and that comes with 23 kilometres to go. The race crossed into Belgium after 80 kilometres today. They were all together and in warm sunshine. And now, with about 35 kilometres to go to the finish, 2 riders here hanging on for dear life as the race hunts them down. It's not just the Gavies team who are chasing it. It is in fact all of the teams who have likely sprint winners on their squads who are now taking part. The 2 riders out front, Francois Simon, the former leader of the King of the Mountains, who has been ill but seems really good again today, and Herman Frison of Belgium. It's been a good breakaway. Even so, they went clear to around 85 kilometres covered today, Francois Simon and Herman Frison, and we're now coming up to around about 170 kilometres covered. So it's been a long breakaway, and it had potential early on, lead going up to over 5 minutes, but there are so many determined riders today in that main field, and there the end is nigh as they close in very, very quickly indeed. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see a series of attacks as soon as these 2 put out the white flag.
And it won't be too long as they are now in the streets of Banch. They're going to miss out by something like 1 kilometre from just surviving as they're back in the main pack at the moment. And I think now we'll see another battle royale, because these sprints, the intermediary sprints, they really have been fighting out over the last couple, with Abdu Japarov at the front. Mario Cipollini would like to get some points back, because really Abdu is eating away all the time and creating himself a good lead.
Well, the pace is absolutely superb again today, around about 46 kilometers an hour. Very, very quick indeed. Now, watch down there for the arrival of the green jersey of Cipollini, if indeed he tries it. It looks like he's in the center of our picture here at the moment. You can see him down there. He's thinking of the sprint. And the little figure of Abdu Japarov is off to the right as well. And Laurent Jalabert is the Once rider in a pink jersey. And that's why the Once team have got the front to keep the pace up, because slowly but surely Laurent Jalabert is fighting his way back up the overall classification in this race by the small time bonuses. It's not really his intention. He wants to play a part in the green jersey well, but it looks like it might be Jan Zarad who's gone clear here, because this is an attack by the Lamprey rider. And indeed, the rider going for the sprint has jumped away from the pack here. And I don't know whether they were ready for an attack like that, Paul, because he's caught the whole field napping.
I think that really did catch them by surprise. He's got a superb lead at the moment. He's still got over a kilometre to go before we actually get to that, and it's going to be just over the top of a small climb here in Banj, but he's working extremely well at the moment.
Well, we're not sure if it is Jan Zarada. It's certainly not the type of attack that comes from a sprinter, but he went early, and maybe he knew something about the area that we didn't know. There's the cobblestones. It wouldn't be Belgium without those cobblestones, because as every young budding cyclist who comes to this country to learn how to race knows, that's about the first thing you remember are the tough cobblestones. The rider who has gone clear is Alexander Gonchenkov, the Ukrainian member of the Lamprey team, and one of those riders involved in that massive pile-up at Armentières 1 year ago. He's back to winning ways as well, and has jumped clear just before the time bonus sprint here in Banch.
Well, that was a superb move, and you can see how bad the roads are in this area of the Wallonie. It's very difficult, and a lot of riders have been trying to use the side of the road here, as Gonchenkov is at the moment, where very often there's a piece of cement or a piece of concrete which is a lot smoother than the cobblestones. 100 meters, and he's made a superb move, and he's going to walk away with the sprint at the moment, but behind there's still going to be the sprint for second and third place.
Well, he hit them at exactly the right time, and he's gone clear and wins the money, but it's the sprint for second place that matters. And it looks to me as though, in fact, we have Jalabert coming up at the back, and maybe Abdu Japarov is with him there. And we couldn't see them over the line, but it was a battle with Jalabert looking across there to the rider from Novell. And in fact, it's neither Moncassin or Abdu Japarov, from what we've seen there, who took on Laurent Jalabert. We'll have to wait for confirmation as to who that rider was. But anyway, Jalabert was involved in the sprint, and it quite likely was Leon Van Bon who came up for the Novell. So Gonchenkov is the rider on the attack. Jalabert continues to nibble away at the small time bonuses, and the race is looking set now for another great sprint finish. We'll take a break.
Away days have become common on the Tour, but in 1947, when the race headed into Belgium, it was the first time it had left French tarmac. And one man was waved through customs well ahead of everyone else. I'll tell you who after this. When the Tour resumed after World War II, the organisers celebrated by taking the race out of France. René Vietto celebrated with one of the great lone breakaways to be the first Tour rider ever to cross the finish line in Brussels. It was shortly after that that the rabies laws were first introduced. Now, although France is regarded quite rightly as the home of haute cuisine, if you're not careful, life in Tour hotels can become a nightmare lurch from one boil in the bag beef bourguignon to the next. And to counteract the effect this can have on team morale, Motorola have employed a man who's quickly becoming one of the great peripheral characters of the Tour, Willy the Chef. Dinner time at the Hotel Climat, and there's a special Tour de France menu on offer. As far as Willy Bowman's concerned, though, not special enough.
A buffet like that, it's nice to look at it. It's nice for the people like the tourists, but for the racer, it's impossible to eat this stuff.
And Willy should know about dodgy food. 11 months of the year, he's an airline steward in Switzerland, which is how he met Jim Okowitz, team manager of Motorola.
And then he asked me, after visiting me in Zurich, where we own a couple of restaurants, to work for a team as a team cook for Motorola.
Willie's job basically entails infiltrating enemy kitchens by any means necessary and cooking the food himself to make sure his boys, as he calls them, come to no harm.
I make a few presents, I give him a few t-shirts of the team and a few hats, and then usually I get the permission. So I take half of the oven, he gives me 2 pans, and all the other items I bring myself.
And he's not kidding. Motorola's 2 team buses are packed with Willie's specially imported supplies.
Okay, now I'm going to show you the kitchen where we store all our stuff. In here I have mostly my cheese, then all the drinks, vitamin drinks, the garlic. We have about 3-4 boys who eat garlics every day. I bring my own olive oil. 45 kilo of Barilla spaghetti, also some special rye, and that's about it.
Tonight's carbohydrate-packed main course is risotto with cheese.
And I'm going to serve it in 1 minute.
And while the Festina team at the next table take their chances with the hotel menu, the Lance Armstrong party of 9 get the Willie special.
It's hot like hell.
And God help any of the wait staff who are late with the cheese.
Vous avez mis où le fromage? Ah bon?
Aptly for a top chef, several people have tried poaching Willie, including Benesto, but he remains faithful to his boys and their personal tastes.
Like the English, they like scrambled egg, or they like fried eggs. The American, they want not fried eggs, they want it easy over. If they win a stage, then they get a special treatment. Then they get a dessert, like a crepe Suzette or something, a good pancake with something on it. Because usually in France, they always get only tarte aux pommes every day, or creme caramel, and they hate that.
The problem with being a super chef, of course, is you never have time to cook for yourself.
No, I didn't have time today, you know, so instead of stopping somewhere on the road, I made myself a sandwich this morning, and I ate them halfway in the car and the other half here in the kitchen.
You better finish it before it goes off.
Okay.
Well, thanks, Gary. And so far from Motorola, there's been no special dessert either from Willie, because they haven't won a stage yet, but maybe today will be the day. We're rejoining the race action now. We've just gone over the very small climb on the Côte d'Andalouse here. It wasn't really a climb at all, and there's a breakaway has been on with Claudio Chiappucci trying to go clear with Angel Edo. But now the whole race back together again. In fact, third over the climb was Dmitry Konishev, so he increases his overall lead to just about 2 points over Richard Virenque. But now the riders try to re-establish a pattern here and break this race up before we go down to the finish.
Well, this is Maurizio Fondries, number 71, the leader of the Lamprey squad. He didn't really want to come to the Tour de France, but he knows that there's a good chance of getting a stage victory. He would like to take it away with him, and he waited for Chiappucci to be caught and attacked straight over the top.
And there's Maurizio, and joining him, Jean-Francois Bernard, now riding for the Giselle team. It's a small French setup. But alongside, he was alongside Miguel Indurain until this year, but now he's moved down to the smaller team, but he's got more freedom, I think. Just coming up there very, very quickly indeed was Brasi, and so Polti have put a man up in the lead as well.
There we have, it looks to me like Eric Decker on the front in the red helmet of the Novell squad, picking the pace up all the time because they don't want this move to go clear. They realise that there's a very strong group at the front who may well be able to hold everybody off.
And then nibbling away, 14 seconds they've pushed it up to now, and they're leaving the Novell riders to do the chasing here. This is Eric Decker, the rider who took the place in the last sprint. He's now trying to bring back this escape for the team sprinters, Abdou Japarov and Moncassin.
These three riders are all very strong men and working very well together at the moment. As soon as Jean-Francois Bernard had done his turn at the front, you see Maurizio Fondries didn't wait. There was no hesitation at all. He came to the front. They're probably using the biggest gear they've got at the moment, which for the people who know a little bit about cycling, they'll be using a gear of 53 at the front and 12 sprocket at the back, which is quite a huge gear to use. And they're traveling at the moment something like 60 kilometers an hour.
And there is the cavalry coming up behind again, and in the man, as Paul has said, in second place, the champion of Italy for a second time, Gianni Bugno.
Just on the right-hand side of the group there, you can see the light blue jerseys of the Mercatoni team. They're waiting at the moment to time themselves to bring up the pace, to bring Mario Cipollini to the front, but this is an absolutely superb move by these three riders. They have 6 miles to go, 10 kilometers. They may well cause a surprise of the day.
Let's have a look at the gap. Here we go.
It's very close now, Phil. It's around about 13 seconds is the information coming over Radio Tour, and you can see it is the light blue jerseys of the Mercatoni squad at the front. That was Eros Pole, the largest, tallest man in this year's Tour de France, nearly 2 meters in height, powering away at the front. And a little bit further down in the middle of that group there is the green jersey of Mario Cipollini. There are the three leaders now, and just behind them they can almost feel the breath of the main field on their necks, and it looks as if it's very much over for Maurizio Fonries, Jean-François Bernard and Rossano from the Polti squad.
Well, that's a shame in many, many ways, because again, those that have taken the risk have lost the day. The sprinters and the strength of a good team around you has ended the attack, and it will have done in a few seconds' time. And the old chicken skin, I think, will start to form now on the arms of the sprinters like Abdu Japarov and Mario Cipollini, Jan Zarada, Eric Zabel, whose birthday it is today, because they will expect to win the stage. But again, the counterattacks are coming immediately. The race is reforming at the front, and this looks like we've got a Polti rider having a go here.
In fact, that was Brassi himself who decided to continue. He waited just for the junction to be made, and he went over the top, but I think it was a last-ditch effort, and the main field still chasing behind. In fact, one of his teammates is on the front, and he may well continue to let him go.
Well, they'll try to back them off, but I think it's a near impossibility right now. Brassi looked so good in that breakaway, didn't he? And now he's tried the move to go again on capture.
In fact, Jean-François Bernard has decided that after being in the front for so long, he would try and get back up into contention with Brassi. The two riders have got about 3 or 4 seconds lead over the main field, and they're prolonging their agony, but Bernard looks extremely good at the moment.
Well, in fact, as we speak and we watch these pictures, yesterday's winner, Jerome Blyleven, has just punctured at the back of the field, so he won't be in the sprint today. That is very, very rough justice indeed. A back wheel for him while the race continues under the 5 kilometers to go banner.
Well, that's it for Jean-François Bernard. Now the Mercatoni Uno boys have got to do the job. They've got to make sure that nobody else attacks over the last 5 kilometers. That's about 7 minutes of racing. They've not got to crack. They've got to keep the speed high, because every time they go into a corner now, somebody will be looking for the opportunity for a slight slowing in the main field to try and launch an attack.
And the Mercatoni Uno riders have got themselves up to the front now, all gathering around their sprinters, Martinello and Cipollini. Martinello is a good sprinter himself, but he will be the last man to lead out Cipollini for the line if it works. But as we look now, Castorama have launched another attack off the front here, because they're determined to give a rough ride to the thoroughbreds of world cycling on the flat stages and not give them an easy passage to the line.
It may well be that Cipollini started his riders too soon there. He had them 5 men at the front at one stage. He lost 2 when we went up the climb into town there, and you see they're not able now to control the attacks. There's a Gann rider starting to go down the right-hand side here, followed by a rider from Lotto.
And the scrabble by the light blue jerseys of Cipollini's Mercatoni Uno. Steve Bauer has come up now. He's there in 5th place too, as they now try to just take chances and maybe escape before the finish. A moment in attention. This is a very difficult corner at this sort of speed. The riders will be a little bit unsighted at the back. There'll be hesitation there, but thankfully they're around it safely. But it's going to be very hard for riders halfway down that field to recover from braking for a bend like that.
And you see this is a treacherous running into Charleroi here, and that's what exactly has happened to Mario Cipollini. He's started his riders too soon. They started the chase. They pull that breakaway back into the fold, but now nobody can control the main field, and attacks are going thick and strong. And as always, there are Fiu Bonesto riders coming to the front, and Miguel Indurain not far away.
But the boy, and here comes Neil Stevens, never lets us down. Neil Stevens, the workhorse of the Once team, the Australian champion, has got to the front now. He's looking to see if Laurent Jalabert is near his back wheel. He is. He's in 3rd place, and Indurain, I think, is also coming up now at the 3 kilometers to go banner here.
But also moving up there is my man Johan Museo. He's lying in 3rd position at the moment, just on the far side of Laurent Jalabert.
Well, if Jalabert were to win today, he will be just 4 seconds off taking the race lead back. He lost in that crash down in Le Havre. But look at this now. Miguel Indurain has come to the front. He's the rider going through now. He's taking part in the sprints as well as the time trials. That's Indurain now setting the pace too. As we look down the group now, we've got the blue jersey of Motorola also up here now. And the MG team are also mixing it. This is going to be a tremendous sprint. The green jersey of Cipollini hovering and holding a 6th or 7th position. He'll want to keep that as long as possible. And watch out too for Laurent Jalabert with 2 kilometres to go.
Eric Zabel in the pink jersey as well is starting to move forward, the man whose birthday it is today, and he's got Olaf Ludwig to help him out, and it could well be that Zabel could get what he wants, a victory on his birthday. Everybody is fighting for position at the moment, and there are 2 or 3 dangerous corners to go. You see the rider from Brescialat on the right-hand side looking over his shoulder to see where his teammate was. Everybody wants to help their teammate. This, it looks to me very much like it's Willem Peters at the front here trying to help his teammate, Johan Museo, who's lost the wheel. Museo has slipped back a little bit.
Well, now Zabel is hoping he can get through to get his 26th birthday present on the line. The Telecom riders are doing what they can. But it looks to me like the crouch style of Vyacheslav Yakimov, who's gone clear now, and he's gone with a lot of vengeance in those legs as he rips away. He was a former world champion and world record holder, and now Yakimov is trying to go and take them from the front. Well, he's a brave man, even with the speed that that man possesses. 1 kilometre to go.
And it looks to me very much like it's Martinello in the light blue jersey. He looks over his shoulder to see if Mario Cipollini is still there. Abdu Japarov is not very far away, but there in 3rd position, 4th position in the green jersey is Mario Cipollini. He's followed by the light green jersey, the yellow jersey of Polti, of Giovanni Lombardi. They'll take a left now, and it's not very far to go. 2 more corners. Now's the time when riders are starting to take risks.
Well, Telecom has swung away now, and Zabel isn't in the frame at the moment, but Johan Museo is in 4th place now and will be itching for victory. It looks like Lombardi has come through on the left of our picture. And so the lineup for the finish now, and I don't know whether this time Cipollini's got it, but Zabel has come from nowhere. He is there, so too is Laurent Jalabert. This is going to be a terrific sprint finish here now as they come up towards the line. As the lead-out man is Olaf Ludwig here. They said he was coming good, but Ludwig could land the big one now. As Olaf Ludwig, Jan Zerada is coming on the far right of our picture, and Zabel is on his wheel. Zerada is taking the middle. Abdu Japarov is digging deep in the middle of our line picture, but on the line, Zabel gets it. Happy birthday, Eric. He takes it on the line. What a tremendous finish indeed. That was a win for Eric Zabel right on the line on his 26th birthday, and again that was one of the finest sprint finishes you will ever see from this great talent of sprinters in a Tour de France stage. And just look at this for a finish now. Eric Zabel is the rider on the right. Jan Zerada is the rider in the middle, who appeared to have it as Olaf Ludwig on the left dropped away. And then the sprinting figure of Jamaluddin Abdu Japarov popped up in the centre again. He just throws his bike around. They all give him plenty of room these days, and then he just tries to do what he can. But this was a finish by Zabel, and he gets it on the line. And it looks as though Jalabert and Abdu will go to the photo for 2nd and 3rd. Zabel takes it, and up on the line, Jalabert will get 2nd, and Abdu Japarov 3rd. And Jan Zerada crosses in 4th. And Eric Zabel now gets his win after finishing 2nd and 3rd these past 2 days. 2nd today, though, was Laurent Jalabert. 3rd, Jamaluddin Abdu Japarov. And 4th was Jan Zerada. Paul Sherwin briefly spoke to Zabel.
Eric, what a fantastic birthday present for you today.
Thanks. Yeah, it's great.
Olaf Ludwig did a superb job for you just in the finish there. Was that an ideal situation for you?
Yeah, it's so great and so ideal for me. It's great.
And overall, there has been a change, and Bjorn Ries of Denmark is the new leader of the Tour de France tonight, and here's why. In the sprint to the line, 2 gaps of 1 second appeared in the big field. Bjorn Ries in red was at the back of the 2nd group, which was given an advantage over Gotti's group, and he finished in the main body of the pack. If a gap of 1 second appears in the groups, a new time is applied. It's a hard interpretation of the rules, but the race referees have stood by their decision. As a result, Gotti has lost his lead, and Ries has gained the yellow jersey.
Bjorn, you've been so close to the yellow jersey the last couple of days, I bet you can't believe it.
Yeah, I can't believe it, that's right. I've been too close, you know, and today I have it. I'm very satisfied with that. Well, Gotti, he lost it. I'm sorry for him, but it's the way the race is.
So to confirm the overall situation, Barney Rees now leads Ivan Gotti by 2 seconds, and Laurent Jalabert has come up into 3rd place. Miguel Indurain also gained from those split times. He got 3 seconds on his principal rivals, and that's the benefits derived from riding near the front at the end of the race. Sean Yates, though, well, he didn't get any benefits at all today. He continues to struggle from that crash injury, and he finished over 3 minutes down. In fact, he came in with Dmitry Konishev, the King of the Mountains leader. And the yo-yo of the green jersey continues tonight. It's gone off the shoulders of Cipollini and back onto those of Jamaluddin Abdu-Japarov. Now, don't forget, there's still time to enter our competition. Try and name the winner of Sunday's time trial, and your name will go in the hat, and you could be the lucky recipient of a full set of leaders' jerseys from this year's Tour de France. The number to ring with your selection, 0891 44 44 77. Well, it was Eric Zabel's birthday today, but in the end it was Bjarne Riis who got the best present, a yellow jersey. Until tomorrow night, goodbye.